All right, joining us now, Dave Brat. Dave, thanks for being with us.
All right, thank you, John. Morning.
So, Dave, also, I am off Tuesday. I got to go to the winter meeting of the RNC in Santa Barbara. Woe is me, right? Woe is me.
Man.
I got to go to Santa Barbara. Normally, Ann doesn't go to these things, so I'm like, hey, you want to go to the winter meeting with me? You were invited by our chairman, Patrick Mara, because you're on the executive committee as his guest. And she's like, no. That's her answer to everything. No. Okay. Where is it? Santa Barbara. Oh, okay. I'm like thinking to myself, you went from a hard no to an okay in like a half a sentence. Like, how did that happen? Santa Barbara, baby. Anyway, Dave, we want you to fill in for me 8 to 10 any days, Tuesday the 21st through Friday, 21, 22, 23, 24 of January. Put it on your calendar.
All right, brother. I'm going into work right now, and I'm going to get on my calendar and see what I can do. I'd love to be on, brother.
You're the man. I'm giving you. I'm not even making you do 6. I'll let Carl do 6 to 8 because I know that's a hassle. I'm going to give you 8 to 10.
Good.
If you want to do 6, fine. But I'm trying to, I'm trying to be nice. I got a big heart, Dave.
Can I do it from my studio? Can I do it from my studio at Liberty? How do I do it?
You just go to your studio and you just log into Restream, just like when you do video. You just log right. We'll send you the link. You log in.
Oh,
and,
easy. Good. All right. Good.
Michael Coleman will set you up, and you got your own show, and you got a producer, and you're on video. You're good to go. Get callers, everything.
Let's go. Good. All right, bro. Very good.
Turnkey, baby. This is a John Fredericks turnkey operation. One button.
Turnkey. Good.
So, Dave, the podcasters are going crazy. What do you think about what do you think about Iran falling and President Trump basically saying, "You kill any more people, there's going to be hell to pay"? Reaction.
Well, that one gets me nervous. I'm all for a free people. Man, it's about time. I mean, I don't know what they're thinking. The Persian people. I went to, I did my PhD at American University in D.C. and all international, right? And I mean, the Iranians, the Persian people are highly intelligent, highly cosmopolitan, very hospitable, friendly. But that regime, I don't know why they aren't taking out the regime long ago. And so I just, that one really is sketchy because of what the CIA did to them back in 1953. We took out Mossadegh and all that business, and then the Shah goes in, and now the Shah Jr. is sitting on the sideline. And if it's got any signal coming from the U.S. of A. or Israel, it's not. Then there's going to be bitterness. So it's got to come from their people, right? If we want to help support somehow with communications or that kind of thing, that's fine. But no boots on the ground. They got 90 million people. And I don't know what percent, and they're just mowing down their people from what I read with the guns. And so, I mean, the hardcores are still in control, and the people need to take over their country.
It needs to be organic and not driven by the United States or Israel, right?
Yeah, that's my position. I mean, yeah, especially there. I mean, our CIA does not have a good track record. People, if you don't know that, go read how many coups d'etats. I think we've had at least 50 in the past 70 years that we've been sponsoring. And then, if it's tied to Israel at all, who's been our friend, that's even worse because then the Middle East has a cow. And, and the way we did it, they had a Western secular leader in. and we got rid of him because he wasn't good enough on the oil price deal for us. And that's back in the old days where we had United Fruit and all that kind of stuff down in Guatemala, and all the profits from that thing, Guatemala and the other countries right around them went to one firm and one guy, billionaire, gazillionaire back in those terms. The head of the CIA was Dulles, and the head of state was the Dulles brother, and it just so happens that that billionaire was the attorney for those two guys. I mean, so it's not good. That's why we're against the deep state. That's why Trump's on a roll, and that's why Trump, the first thing he's got to put some people in jail. Now you got Waltz sending troops against our troops. Ask any military person what they think that's called, right? I mean, it's just Trump's got to first make some arrests here before we go abroad anymore, and to gain credibility for this America First movement. That, hey, this is for the middle class, right? I'm doing it all for the middle. And if people don't go to jail here, and the elites from the other side, the leftists. I mean, after this Minnesota debacle with billions of dollars, I think it's over $12 billion now in theft, and the border invasion that's been mass produced on purpose for those ends. And if you don't solve some of that first, we're in trouble.
We're chatting with Dave Brat, former congressman, Virginia's 7th District, professor of economics, doctorate economics now, senior executive outreach, business outreach, Liberty University. His opinions are his own. Dave, President Trump yesterday coming out with a 10% cap effective January 20th on all credit card companies in the year 2026. That means if you've got a credit card right now, you run up the bill for whatever reason, affordability, and your interest rate is 22%, 23%, 27%. It's now starting in January 20th, it's 10. Can he do that? And are you uncomfortable that we're meddling in the free market? I'm in favor of it. I've already given my piece. Now I want yours.
Yeah, I'm probably. It depends what that rate gets set at and how. But some of the gouging is just incredible. These big firms, if I thought we had a free market in banking, et cetera, I might be a little bit more opposed, or I might want a little higher rate, because 10%. I mean, the mortgage right now is still 7 or 8 or whatever. And if some people are super risky, I mean, I don't know if I'd lend to very, very risky folks who have defaulted a number of times and the cap's 10. That might be a little low. And so, again, what Trump's got to do is he's got to make some moves. These banks, are putting their reserve, their cash, with the Federal Reserve System and getting paid interest payments by the Federal Reserve to the tune of billions, right? So these 12 super banks and all these J.P. Morgans and cities that we've bailed out for the past 30 years after the 2008 crisis, everybody knows that story of corruption in banking. And if you really get down to it and look at these coups d'etats over time and whatever, guess who's behind a lot of that stuff? Banking. All right, if you really want to go down the rabbit hole, go to London banking. They have their own zip code, just by chance. And so I want to see more free markets and less crony capitalism and whatever. And so I do like the move, just because it gets at some of the banks, the big banks. But telling some of these smaller bankers that they can only cap it at 10, that could be a little problematic for the smaller bankers, and end up putting them out of business, and then we get even more big banks.
Dave, you nailed it. And obviously the ramification of the 10% cap, I mean, I think it's a good thing. I'm in favor of it. We have an affordability crisis, if you will. This is going to help a lot of people, get it under control. One of the ramifications of it is that the ability to extend credit, get a credit card, get additional credit is going to diminish dramatically, because, those credit card companies do an analysis. When you're paying 27%, you're not paying that because you've got a 700 credit rating. You're paying it because they gave somebody with a 450 rating another $2,000, and they know what the default rate is down to the dime. So you're compensating for that. And so that's going to get restricted. But you know, you got to let the chips stay, fall where they may. A lot of people are suffering now, and bringing these credit card payments down when we have the highest credit card debt in history. I think the president did the right thing, but it will have ramifications. That much we know.
Yeah, right.
Dave, let's get to the fallout, the economic fallout in Cuba. A good portion of their income, of their money, was coming from Venezuela. That's now gone. It's dried up. It went from whatever it is to zero. How long can that country survive before that collapses economically?
Well, I don't know. It's kind of funny. Over the weekend, I kind of did a deep dive back on Lenin, Stalin, Trotsky, all this kind of thing. And just because of all these issues floating in the air, I wanted to do a refresher on communism. And the problem, of course, is communists like Mamdani and all these, they don't care about the people, right? They give this great story that they're for the brotherhood of mankind, and then Stalin kills 30 million, or in war, but also killed just millions and millions of his own people. And they just throw them off into the Eurasian landmass wars like they're cattle. And so how long can they survive? I mean, they've survived on less for decades because they're in this, the elites are in this ideological war against us, and they're being propped up by Russia. So, we'll see now. Trump's accumulating some leverage on Russia there with the oil deal. And I think he actually does have a speaking relationship with Putin. And for the folks who don't know, on that thing, the Ukraine war, go back to the beginning on that, go read John Mearsheimer. And basically, James Baker III promised that we, after Gorbachev made some groundbreaking moves and freed, 18 countries, we said we would not move 1 inch east. And then we broke our word only 17 times. And the 18th country is Ukraine. And that's on the buffer of Russia. And we're saying our elites, our globalist elites who want that, have a hard time with that. And while we're trying to do the Monroe Doctrine over here saying we want the whole hemisphere for security reasons, which I totally agree with. That hemispheric dominance and the new Trump national security strategy is brilliant. We ought to have been doing it because that's going to force us to pivot to China as well. But it's all related to the Cuba piece and the Venezuela piece. And it all hinges on, can we have a gradual rapprochement, right, peaceful movement back toward Russia, who is still a quasi-European Christian country. And if we don't win them back in some way, it doesn't have to be nirvana, but we got to get them back because them and China together are a real problem going forward.
You got it. No question about it. Look, I think you're right there. It's called the Monroe Doctrine. We've got to take command of our hemisphere. Okay. Another question. These flash mobs, the mobs you see going on in Portland, Minneapolis, and a couple other cities, we're now getting. John Solomon did a great expose. These are all paid. They're funded by Marxist billionaires that basically are trying to get control of the apparatus of government. There's CCP money going in. There's communist money going in. These are not organic. These are all paid flash mob protesters. Why don't we just debank them?
Oh, I don't know why we don't. It's a mystery to me. We're in charge. Where's the House leadership, the Senate leadership, the White House, DOJ? I mean, it's just obvious that that's what it is. Who's the guy under Clinton? This is all his strategy going way back. Everybody knows it. We're doing Black Lives Matter thing again right here. They've been waiting for their false flag and a shooting so that they can start their civil war. And I'm not really exaggerating using that term. When Waltz calls out the National Guard troops to take on federal troops, I don't know what you call that, right? And then he's entered there whooping up the masses. And then when you find some of them are paid, which, I mean, when I ran, there were paid organizers in my congressional election, right? Everyone had coordinated pink hats and swearing at the pastors during the prayer and all this kind of thing. That is not normal liberal behavior, right? That's a bunch of leftists under some sort of mind control going on these days. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Brainwashed and paid.
Yes,
they're paid. Like
yes.
it was somebody was saying the other day that if you look at the chants they do and everything else, and it goes on for hours, there's no normal human being that does that because they're pissed. I mean, they're paid to do it, and they got a script to get their money wired. I mean, this is what this whole, or they get Venmo or whatever they do. I mean, look, I remember my father taking me to Central Park, I think, to see a Vietnam protest, although my father was pro-Vietnam War, pro-Richard Nixon, Republican, James Buckley conservative. I mean, William F. Buckley conservative. But he took me, I was very small, 8 or 9, to show me that the country has opposing views and what it looks like, right? The guy was just a blue-collar worker, punched a clock every day. But he knew, I got to teach my son that, protests are okay and this is what freedom is, even though we don't agree with it. But it was like when I was there as a kid at 8 or 9, there was nothing like it is now. It was just a bunch of kids smoking pot and stuff. These are paid people with scripts. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I was just out in Los Angeles, and the governor Newsom and whatever. I mean, he's up for election as president of the United States after he's ruined, San Francisco, L.A., fires, no water. I mean, all the major firms are moving out, and he's up for re-election on that basis. So you can only conclude one thing. There is a new group of people in this country trained in by, leftist colleges and universities on, philosophically, it's called deconstruction, where there are no truth, there's no beauty, there's no good, right? The true, the beautiful, and the good are all toast. Those things are now bad. Justice is bad. It's a Marxist, project of the white man or whatever. The whites are the only ones you can discriminate. The Bible's the only thing that has given minority rights, and the minorities in the country want to get rid of the book that's given them minority rights. So everything is upside down. We got to get back to the image of God in all of us, and we need to put that in the public schools, or we're going to lose our civilization.
There you got it. It's like Stranger Things. Everything is upside down, right?
Right, right. You got it.
Dave, thanks for being with us. By the way, text me your availability. And I got Jonathan Pollard coming up at 10 o'clock. Interview, Tel Aviv, spy. If you have a question you want me to ask him, text it to me, and I will do that. Thank you. Dave Brat, always good to have you. Dr.
And I got a question for Pollard. Ask him if all people on this earth are made in the image of God.
I've written that down.
Good.
Why do you want to ask?
All right, brother. That? Because I want to know his worldview immediately. If he answers that the wrong way, holy moly.
That'll be the first question I will ask him.
Thank you, brother. Very good.
Dr. Dave Brat. Thanks, Dave. Give me your availability.
Right, good.
Dr.
Yep, I will.
All right, bye.